What's up, Dork Squad? Over the years, there's been many Nintendo franchises that I've played. Kirby, Super Mario, Animal Crossing, The Legend of Zelda, the list goes on. However, there's been one franchise I've somehow avoided, at least until just recently, and that is Shigeru Miyamoto's not-so-secret love child, Pikmin. In the span of 5 months, I have both played through and 100%ed every single Pikmin game, 2 of which I've actually played through twice now. However, before we get into my experience, let's talk about what Pikmin actually is, because for those of you who have never played it, this game is so much more than tiny little creatures doing chores. Pikmin is a mix of real-time strategy, adventure, and survival. You play as a tiny space explorer who crash lands on a mysterious planet, and lucky for you, the planet is home to Pikmin, small plant-like creatures who are ready to follow your every command. Each type of Pikmin has special abilities. Some are immune to fire, some can swim, some can break stuff and you need to use them wisely to solve puzzles, gather treasures, and fight giant, terrifying creatures that want to eat your new little friends, because everything in this world wants to eat them, and it happens. A lot. Before I get too ahead of myself though, I want to take a moment to talk about everything that led to this very moment. So, let's go all the way back to my very first interaction with anything Pikmin related. So before I ever even knew what a Pikmin was, I stumbled upon them through the magical world of Nintendo AR cards. If you don't know what Nintendo AR cards are a line of little plastic cards that the Nintendo 3DS uses as position trackers for an augmented reality experience. These cards came bundled with the Nintendo 3DS and were designed to showcase the handheld's augmented reality capabilities. Each of these cards had a Nintendo character of some sort on them, and one of them featured these tiny little plant-like creatures. By pointing the 3DS camera at the AR card, these little beings would spring to life on screen, interacting with your surroundings in real time. I remember being fascinated by how they moved and responded, and since I had no idea who or what a Pikmin was, and these cards had other Nintendo characters that I was already familiar with, there were obviously other favorites, let's just be real. So I didn't interact with them a whole lot, and honestly forgot about them rather quickly. Fast forward to the year 2021, and you have my very first experience with a mainline Pikmin game. Demo. That's right, my first time ever playing an actual Pikmin game was the Pikmin III Deluxe demo on Nintendo Switch. And I gotta be honest, I didn't really get it. I mean, I understood the basic idea, command little plant guys, throw them at things, but something about it just wasn't clicking for me at the time. Maybe it was the time limit, maybe my complete lack of strategy, I don't know. I just know I found myself very lost and confused and overwhelmed, but either way, I walked away from the demo thinking, I don't know if Pikmin's for me, which is kind of funny considering just how deep I've fallen into the series now, but at the time, I just wasn't feeling it. So, after my kind of meh experience with the Pikmin III Deluxe demo, you would honestly think I wouldn't bother with the series anymore, right? Wrong. October 26th, 2021, my journey began with a little mobile game called Pikmin Bloom. Developed by Niantic, the same team that was behind Pokemon Go, Pikmin Bloom is an augmented reality game that encourages you to get outside and explore. It was like Pokemon Go, but without the Pokemon. So naturally, I downloaded it, as one does, and immediately I had flashbacks to my Pikmin III Deluxe demo experience. Because once again, spoiler alert, I didn't really get it. I mean, I understood that walking made Pikmin grow, and I could plant flowers, but like, why? Was I just supposed to vibe? Like, it felt like a step tracker with extra steps. In Pikmin Bloom, your real-world steps help you grow and nurture Pikmin. As you walk, Pikmin follow you, planting flowers along your path and collecting fruits. Feeding them nectar makes flowers bloom on their heads, which you can use to plant even more flowers in the game world. One of the charming aspects I did find about this game is finding seedlings during your walks. These little sprouts can grow into Pikmin with unique costumes based on where you found them, like a Pikmin wearing a tiny hamburger hat. If you found it near a restaurant, it's a delightful way to personalize your Pikmin squad. I mean, it was cute, sure, but like with the Pikmin III demo, I kinda walked away thinking, hey, maybe Pikmin just isn't for me. So I have a confession to make. At some point, I fell into an Amiibo craze. You know how it goes. You buy one, then suddenly you need all of them. And during this phase, I stumbled across a bundle on eBay that included Captain Falcon, Wii Fit Trainer, and the Super Smash Bros. Captain Olimar and Hey Pikmin Amiibo. Now, at this point, I still wasn't really a Pikmin fan. I had bounced off of the Pikmin III Deluxe demo, Pikmin Bloom confused me, and yet something about that little Olimar figure made me stop and think. Maybe I should give Pikmin another shot. It was like the Pikmin themselves were whispering, try again, you'll get it this time. Or maybe it was just me trying to justify another Amiibo purchase. I don't friggin' know. Regardless, this eBay bundle was the exact push I needed to finally properly try Pikmin again. And this time, things went very differently. Since I already had the Hey Pikmin Amiibo, I decided to look for a copy of the Hey Pikmin game on 3DS. I originally planned to get the Pikmin 1 and 2 bundle on Switch, but since the holidays were coming up, I kind of wanted to wait and see if I found a sale or anything, which I eventually did, but in the meantime, to hold me over, I picked up a copy of Hey Pikmin, and, it's a little different. Unlike other Pikmin games, this one is a 2D platformer. It's more about exploration and light puzzle solving rather than real-time strategy. You still have Pikmin, and they still help you fight enemies and collect treasures, but there's no big open world, just individual levels. And yes, you can still lose Pikmin, which means even in 2D, I still feel really guilty when I mess up, but that's not the point. Honestly, Hey Pikmin gets a bad rep, but I actually have a soft spot for it. It's not a full Pikmin experience, but it was basically my gateway into the series, and the game that finally won me over. It introduced me to the world, the creatures, and the concept of using Pikmin to solve problems. That said, after playing the mainline real Pikmin games, I totally get it. I completely get why people don't consider Hey Pikmin a true Pikmin experience. It's fun, but it's missing the chaos, the strategy, and that gut-wrenching feeling of watching 50 Pikmin get eaten because you made a bad call. Still, if you like chill puzzle platformers like myself, Hey Pikmin isn't bad, just don't expect it to prepare you for the real thing. At the time, I had no idea what I was missing. To me, Hey Pikmin was just a cute little puzzle platformer where I threw Pikmin at stuff and hoped for the best. I wasn't thinking about real-time strategy, managing an army, or how this game compared to the rest of the series because, well, I simply just didn't know any better. So maybe in that regard, it's a good thing I played Hey Pikmin first? I don't know, but still, despite not fully grasping what Pikmin was supposed to be, I had a decent time with it. It wasn't mind-blowing, but it was fun enough to keep me curious about the series. And little did I know, I was only scratching the surface. After finishing Hey Pikmin, I was curious. Was this really what Pikmin was all about? So like any rational person in the modern age, I turned to YouTube, and that's when I stumbled across something unexpected. Pikmin Shorts. I had no idea these even existed, but the second I hit play, I was absolutely hooked. It was adorable, it was funny, and most importantly, it made me realize something. These little guys had way more personality than I originally thought. Like, I had sort of grown attached to them in Hey Pikmin, but watching them run around, cause chaos, and narrowly avoid disaster, that hit differently. For the first time, I started to see why people really loved Pikmin. And suddenly, I wasn't just curious. I needed to know more. That's right, here we are. The mainline Pikmin games, starting with 1 and going all the way to 4. The original Pikmin is all about time management and survival. Right from the start, the game throws you into the deep end. You're stranded, your spaceship is in pieces, and you've only got 30 in-game days to recover at least 25 out of 30 parts before your life support runs out. This game is pure stress. You have to explore, manage your Pikmin, and race against the clock. Waste too much time? But honestly, once you get the hang of it, Pikmin 1 feels like the perfect mix of strategy and adventure. Every decision matters, and every day is a careful balance between exploring and surviving. It's the game that constantly keeps you wanting more. The controls might feel a little clunky by today's standards, but there's something really satisfying about mastering them. The sense of scale is something special. Seeing the world from Olimar's tiny perspective makes everything feel massive and slightly ominous. Also, the enemies are unforgettable. From the classic Bulborb to the nightmare-inducing Smoky Prog, an enemy that has haunted many first-time players. And let's talk about losing Pikmin, because the first time it happens, absolutely traumatizing. The way they scream as they get eaten, yeah, that stays with you. At first glance, Pikmin seems like a simple game. Tiny plant creatures, a crashed spaceship, and a guy in a spacesuit just trying to get home. But the more you play, the more you realize just how much lore is packed into this world. Olimar isn't just some generic space explorer. He worked for Hakotate Freight, a delivery company, and he's just an average salaryman trying to provide for his family. Throughout the game, his logs reveal that he's not a heroic adventurer, he's just a guy who got into an incredibly weird situation. His logs are full of observations about the Pikmin, the creatures, and the planet itself. And if you read between the lines, there's this subtle, eerie feeling that something is off about this world. For starters, the planet Olimar crash lands on is heavily implied to be Earth, long after humans have disappeared. The structures, the objects, even some of the enemies, it all points to a world that once belonged to us, but is now overrun with strange creatures, and that realization makes everything feel unsettling in a way. Then there's the Pikmin themselves. They're incredibly loyal, almost too loyal, actually. They follow Olimar without question, even to their deaths, and when you start thinking about why they act this way, it gets kind of creepy. Are they just naturally obedient? Have they evolved to rely on a leader? Or, and this is where it gets weird, do they remember past leaders? And this is just the first game. The deeper you dive into the Pikmin series, the more lore you uncover. From the history of the planet to the weird biology of the creatures, what starts as a cute strategy game slowly becomes this fascinating rabbit hole of mystery and environmental storytelling. Nintendo saw Pikmin 1 and said, hey, what if we take away that 30-day time limit and make it way more dangerous? That is Pikmin 2 in a nutshell. If you thought Olimar had it rough in Pikmin 1, Pikmin 2 immediately reminds you that things can always get worse. Enter Louie, Olimar's new coworker and single-handedly the most frustrating character in the series. At first, Louie seems harmless, just a quiet, weird little guy who tags along for your new mission. Immediately after the events of the first game, Olimar finally makes it home, only to find out that Hakotate Freight is drowning in debt because Louie lost an entire shipment of Pikmin carrots by accident. Sure, buddy. Now, he claims that some ravenous space bunny ate them, but come on, let's be real. Do we really believe that? And instead of getting fired on the spot, the company sends him on a high-risk treasure hunt with Olimar back to the same planet he just escaped from to pay off the debt. That's right, instead of a rescue mission, this time, you're collecting treasure to pay off your company's massive debt, and somehow, that means scavenging bottle caps, old batteries, and even a literal Game & Watch. Pikmin 2 also introduces a really intuitive upgrade feature, which I always love in any game. You can get things like fire and electricity-resistant upgrades for your suit, and closer to the end of the game, you get a whistle that lets you bypass plucking Pikmin altogether. Another big change is the 2-leader system with Olimar and Louie, and again, Louie is, well, let's just say he has questionable eating habits. This game definitely leans into more humor, especially with the absurd treasure descriptions. But that's pretty much where the fun stops, because now we get to talk about caves. Caves are multi-level dungeons where you're trapped until you reach the bottom. No going back, no resetting the day, just you, your Pikmin, and pure terror as new nightmare creatures show up to ruin your life. Caves also have no time limit at all and are a test of endurance, as you can't replenish Pikmin inside, making every battle feel more high stakes. The introduction of purple and white Pikmin also adds new layers of strategy. Purple Pikmin break the game with their insane strength, lifting the weight of tin Pikmin, while white Pikmin are speedy and poisonous, making them risky, but valuable. Boss fights in Pikmin II are especially brutal, with enemies like the Water Wraith and Titaned Weevil pushing players to their limits. Pikmin II is less stressful than Pikmin 1 in some ways, but when it decides to be scary, yeah, it really goes for it. Ah, yes, the game that started it all. Pikmin III. I truly have found myself back at the start. Earlier in this video, I mentioned how I once played the Pikmin III Deluxe demo and didn't really care for it, but man, am I so glad I revisited this game. It really refines the series' mechanics with smoother controls, better Pikmin AI, and the ability to split tasks more efficiently between 3 captains instead of 2. The story shifts focus to Alf, Brittany, and Charlie, who are on a mission to save their starving home planet, Kopai. Pikmin 3 is absolutely beautiful. Everything is stunningly crisp, detailed, and the fruit looks so good I actually want to eat it. Honestly, this game feels like the best of both worlds. It brings back the time limit from Pikmin 1, but in a much more forgiving way. Instead of 30 days, you just have to make sure you don't run out of juice by collecting fruit from each map, which makes exploring way more fun. It also gives an official name to the planet from the first 2 games, PNF 404. The introduction of Rock and Wing Pikmin also shakes things up. Rock Pikmin are absolute units, which makes them perfect against enemies like Shaggy Longlegs. Wing Pikmin, on the other hand, are great for mobility but struggle in combat. Managing Pikmin types effectively becomes a bigger deal in this game. Just in general, I love how each Pikmin game has that one Pikmin that is stronger or more OP than the rest. Like, Pikmin 1 is pretty well balanced, but you could claim it's the red Pikmin. Pikmin 2, obviously the purple Pikmin. 3 is definitely Rock Pikmin, and 4 introduces Ice and Glow Pikmin, but more on that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then there's the final boss. That thing. The Plasm Wraith is a stressful endurance fight, and its eerie presence makes it one of the most memorable encounters in the series. Overall, I honestly had a lot of fun with Pikmin 3 and really enjoyed the new features it has to offer, especially the lock-on feature making Pikmin throws more precise. There's also a camera feature I wanted to mention just for the sole purpose of showing off this picture I took of a red Pikmin. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. Sad to say though, they took it away in Pikmin 4. Speaking of Pikmin 4, let's talk about it. Pikmin 4 introduces the biggest changes yet, introducing a custom protagonist and shifting their perspective more toward exploration than strict time limits. The addition of Oatchi the Rescue Pup completely changes how you interact with the world. Oatchi can fight, swim, and even carry Pikmin, making him an essential tool for puzzle solving. The biggest change by far, though, seems to be literally within the first few seconds of the opening cutscene. It starts off seemingly normal, with Olimar telling the story of how he crash-landed on the planet and discovered Pikmin, but then he proceeds to mention meeting a dog, which never happened in Pikmin 1, so what's up with that? But seriously, this game expands everything and is kind of a mix of the 3 previous titles while also being its own thing with glow-in-the-dark Pikmin, underground expeditions, and a character creator. Glow Pikmin add another layer of strategy and the new night expeditions, which feel more like tower defense missions. This is also the first game with a true rewind feature, meaning mistakes aren't near as punishing. Pikmin 4 also introduces Dandori battles, which are basically Pikmin speedrunning competitions. These can be stressful, but also really satisfying when you start mastering them. However, the biggest surprise might be how weird this game gets though. Louis is even worse in this game. Seriously, why does he keep getting jobs? And there are some bizarre plot twists, especially regarding Olimar. Overall, Pikmin 4 is the most beginner-friendly while also having that original Pikmin charm, just, you know, with a dog. So that said, after playing every Pikmin game, I finally get it. Pikmin isn't just a strategy game. It's a mix of adventure, exploration, and emotional attachment to creatures who trust you with their lives. It's adorable, challenging, and occasionally horrifying. If you've never played Pikmin, I highly recommend giving it a shot. It's unlike anything else Nintendo makes, and once you start, you might just find yourself completely obsessed like myself. So yeah, what's your favorite Pikmin game? Definitely let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe, and all of that stuff. And I will see you all in my next video. I have put the Pikmin here because they deserve a spot in this video, and if you don't like it, that's on you. You should play Pikmin, by the way.